The Epstein thing actually did happen. It is real. It's not a hoax. Like what the hell are they talking about? Is he saying what is he talking about? Is he saying that there is no list and there is nobody else implicated, there is no other details to know or understand about this? Like that's what people are, I think, lost about. That's what I'm lost about. I'm like, what do you mean it's a hoax? Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Epstein files scandal and everything surrounding that, and just the madness and the craziness in the media, Trump, and all the craziness that goes along with it. So before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do see more of you coming back and you're not subscribing. We're just about at the 1,000 mark. So thank you very much for that. So we will have new goals pretty soon here. But again, thank you so much for all of the support and all of the comments and interesting perspective on things. You know, and I'm not doing this stuff to needle people or tick people off. I really do like having thoughtful, realistic conversations that can lead to the truth. That really is what this channel is about. So if that's interesting to you, please go ahead and subscribe. You know, Trump campaigned hard on the Epstein list thing, and it was a pretty big scandal back when Biden was in office. When Epstein died, there was talk of a list forever. And what do they really mean by list, right? Do they mean flight logs, the redacted names in certain places in testimony? Where did the phrase list come from? You know, I really think that a lot of this list talk is kind of conflated with flight logs, different documentation, court filings, that sort of thing. And then over time, it sort of morphed into the list. So fast forward, Trump does get in office, and there's this huge buildup from AG Pam Bondi that there's going to be this bombshell of truth, bombshell of transparency surrounding all of this.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
I was briefed on that yesterday. I can't talk about that publicly, but you know, President Trump has given a very strong directive, and that's going to be followed.
Wow. Okay. So
a lot of documents.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So people can expect actual movement on this. It's not just empty promises.
Oh, Donald Trump doesn't make empty promises.
Yeah, right.
I think promises made, promises kept, and that's why we're all there.
And a lot of people are on the edge of their seats and have been for some time because, hey, let's face it, something like that could be quite revealing about a lot of things going on in our society and a lot of things going on with elite, in politics, in celebrity worlds, who knows, right? And they teased it by handing out those stupid binders.
They walked out of the White House holding binders labeled the Epstein files. Now, it's not clear what's inside the binders and whether they'll be released to other media outlets. President Trump signed an executive order ordering that the files be released, but Attorney General Pam Bondi says the FBI hasn't turned over everything, and she's expecting more files tomorrow. Epstein was known for socializing with billionaires, celebrities, and royalty. He was awaiting trial on federal charges when he was found dead in his cell in 2019.
And it kind of went quiet for a while after that, if you remember. At least that's what I remember. Like, they did the thing with the binders, and then they turned around and kind of just backed off of it for a bit. And we were still kind of waiting to understand if there was more, what that more was, what else they were going to release, what else they were going to say. And then poof, nothing to see here. What are you talking about? And this is where it appears like we're being gaslit, you know, this huge buildup to nothing. So it's like, why were they even talking about this? And even Trump seemed to have suddenly, out of the blue, dropped the entire thing like a hot potato, and he's sidestepping, and he's sort of even branding it now as a complete hoax. Some say it's because he's 100% implicated in this, and then some say it's because he just frankly just doesn't give a crap. And I think it could be a partial truth on both sides of that equation, but then again, there's even more theories surrounding this than just those two things. So Trump, he was friends with Epstein. I mean, absolutely he was. They were friends on some level for sure. Before I go any further, I'm not defending Trump necessarily, this is kind of a stream of consciousness, opinions, and putting things together. But from what I understand about Trump is that he really doesn't have actual real close relationships or friendships with very many people. He's a pretty busy guy, and it always was, even predating his presidencies. And I mean, how much time did Trump have on his hands to really know about the ins and outs of Epstein's disgusting and gross shenanigans and the depths of his disgusting behavior, right? Unless he was deeply involved and actively participating. But again, where's the actual evidence to suggest that? I actually knew somebody back in New York that knew Trump, and I was told that everything, and I mean everything, was all business with that guy. Trump is all business, which might explain a lot of his weird dismissive behaviors that to us look very suspicious and appear as a cover-up. I mean, I just don't know. There's no real possible way for me to really know or not what the hell is going on here. But it's also not weird that he would campaign on something and then turn around and not do anything about it. I mean, that's politics for you, right? But I think regardless, of course, there are some people that really invested themselves in this. They put all their eggs in one basket, and now they feel very betrayed. They still want to believe that Trump isn't like the swamp, you know, and all that. And in some ways, he's not. He is getting things done. But everything is all or nothing with a lot of these people. And the polarization of everything has become the status quo. It's funny, too, because this whole thing is blowing up around the time that the Diddy trial is coming to a close. And a couple of weird parallels that I see with those two cases are, first, the celebrity high profile behind it, two very influential, powerful people. And then it was who knew about it, right? And who was close to it and who knew what was going on behind closed doors and the shocking allegations. I mean, with the P. Diddy thing, there was speculation about J-Lo, about Ellen. There was speculation about LeBron James. And then with the Epstein stuff, there was speculation with Bill Clinton and obviously Trump. And at one point, even Michael Jackson was part of the speculation surrounding Epstein. And according to this BBC article from 2024, there were 900 pages worth of stuff with the Epstein trial. And these smoking guns, right, as far as tapes and recorded stuff and hours of footage that supposedly implicate people doing really horrible things. You had that on both sides. You had the Diddy tapes. There were Epstein tapes. There's Epstein lists, Epstein files. It's just all over the place. There's all these smoking guns that supposedly support that tons of people are totally implicated on something. So where the hell did all that information go? So this whole thing is just wild to me. And there's a pattern now of this happening. And the public has sat here for years salivating over these supposed bombshells that never came to be. And I have to ask myself, is this all by design? This is like a psychological manipulation or something, some sort of like way to desensitize us. And what is this? Well, what is this for? Why is this being done? And I do find it weird that these things are being talked about in parallel and back to back. You can draw a lot of similarities to all of this, especially because they're both high profile cases involving crimes. So let's react to some videos surrounding with all of this Epstein stuff and what's been happening. And we'll walk through some footage and get some opinions and we'll speculate. And as everyday people, that's, what else is there? We don't have access to what's behind this curtain. Someday we might. I don't know.
Yeah. Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen? No,
it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him.
But here's the thing. It's like I said earlier, he did campaign on this. So how is it all of a sudden a hoax? All of a sudden it's taken this turn that now it's just some sort of, Democratic conspiracy that they've thrown out there to distract us. I mean, is that what he's admitting? I don't know. Tell me what you think.
And It's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we had.
I don't know that he realizes that things like this make him look guilty, make him look like he's part of it, because all of a sudden he's swerved in a different direction, right? I mean, I guess they're going to do that to him anyways, because even when he said he was going to release the files, it was, oh, well, that's because, he thinks they're going to redact his name and they're not going to actually show that it was him. And now, of course, it's because he is on it. So it's like, no matter what the man does, he probably is going to be accused. That he will always have been part of it. Even if they can prove that he wasn't, they'll still find a way to make him part of it on some level, because you know how they roll the tape all the time of him and Epstein at that party, and they show that again and again and again to try to prove how close they were. But again, I do think it's weird that he names off all these other things that are hoaxes that had absolutely nothing to do with Epstein and says, oh, this is just another hoax. And it's angering people, because it's like, why are you talking about it then? Why did you bring it up when you were campaigning? Why would you do that to people? Like, I think a lot of American citizens, when they put their trust in Trump, they feel like, oh, well, that guy's not going to mess with my head, right? They're like, he's being so truthful and honest and he's so real. That's why people are attracted to him, because that's the narrative that he runs on. But I don't know that that's always true, because politicians are politicians.
With the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
It is quite a turn of events, and especially because you got people like Pam Bondi that went out there and said, hey, there's all this stuff on my desk and we're going to release it. And Trump wants all transparency and he's going to keep his campaign promises.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job. And I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also. But I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important. And you want credible evidence for something like that. And I think the Attorney General has handled it very well.
How many more states? The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What?
On the DOJ and FBI
On what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein. Okay. On Epstein, of the review of the file. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden administration.
I don't see, this is where he loses me a little bit, because I'm like, they're made up. Like, this actually really happened. And Epstein was charged criminally in the past for trafficking and for, going after a minor. Like, those things are actually true. And you actually have Ghislaine Maxwell doing time in relation to the things that Epstein did. So there's already an established truth to this, that something really big went down and there are people that are responsible. And I don't think she's the only one. So for him to reach out on a limb and say that the whole thing is a hoax, I have a really hard time, I guess, believing that much, because that just seems like a complete exaggeration. But, of course, that's Trump for you.
We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But the
Epstein thing actually did happen. It is real. It's not a hoax. Like, what the hell are they talking about? Is he saying, what is he talking about? Is he saying that there is no list and there is nobody else implicated? There is no other details to know or understand about this? Like, that's what people are, I think, lost about. That's what I'm lost about. I'm like, what do you mean it's a hoax?
It very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
How can it be credible and a hoax at the same time? That's what, again, I'm having trouble with that too. And again, I'm not necessarily defending Trump. I'm not necessarily agreeing with him, but I'm just taking this kind of play-by-play here. And there's just so much that doesn't make sense. I mean, what do you guys think?
These files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden information.
It's hard to feel bad for Trump over this Epstein backlash, because he and his team made this bed and now they have to lie in it. Because they talked about Epstein like there was this big conspiracy that needed to be released, this big bombshell, and once they got into office, they would release it. And the thing is, they were making these sort of suggestive promises before they were in office, before they had access to the confidential information they would need to even know if there was a bombshell. So is there a bombshell? I personally think it's very unlikely that the client list exists. I'm sorry, I know that's not the popular thing to say, but why would a mastermind criminal like Jeffrey Epstein keep a neat and tidy list of all of his criminal accomplices for the authorities to find? And people,
I mean, I guess that's kind of true in a sense. He obviously was keeping a lot of this stuff a pretty locked down secret, because there's this other big conspiracy that there's a huge amount of elitist people involved in this, and it's the biggest kept secret of all time. And they kind of go with that similar narrative with P. Diddy too, that all of these rich people, they all know about the PDF files and they're all participating and they're all involved in some way. And do I think that there's a problem? Yes, it's determining how large of a problem it is and how many people really actually know and have access to this stuff and know about it.
And people say, oh, well, he's not releasing it because he's on it. And it's like, why would he even have suggested that they would release it if that were true? And also, there are so many people who have touched this case that I think it's highly unlikely that such a grand conspiracy could be kept under wraps by.
Well, and not only that, but I would also say that if the Democrats knew that Trump was on the list, I really, really believe that they would have done everything in their power to try to get a hold of that information and release it to the public before he got reelected as a way to take him down. I mean, think about all the other cases and trials and tribulations that Trump was put through that were at the hands of the Democrats in a lot of these cases. And, they tried everything. Some people think that they were the ones that even tried to attempt to assassinate him. I mean, look, I don't know what's true, what isn't true, anything like that. I really, really have a hard time formulating a complete opinion, because there's so many different narratives and so many different roads to go down.
All of them, because the first person to release that would instantly become a legend. So I think the more likely possibility here is that Trump and his team unwisely were just saying what they thought people wanted to hear to get into office. It wouldn't be the first time that Trump has been loose with his words. So I know it's not the grand juicy conspiracy theory that everyone's talking about, but I think the most likely possibility here is that Trump was simply writing checks that he could not cash.
I mean, yeah, that could be it too, that he was just running his mouth, campaigning on what worked, and that was working at the time. I mean, he campaigned on a lot of different promises, and I think he has come through somewhat on some of those things. And yeah, I mean, that might be an unpopular opinion, but maybe it is true that this isn't the grand conspiracy that people are making it out to be. I do think that there is something there. but I don't necessarily believe that Trump has anything to do with it. I don't get heebie-jeebie PDF file vibes off of Trump. I never have. I mean, there's plenty of other people that I do. Him in particular, I don't. But that, hey, again, you just never know. So I've kind of always left the door cracked a bit on issues like this because there have been plenty of cover-ups. But to Trump's point, there's been plenty of hoaxes. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think. And, you know, it's okay that if we don't agree necessarily, or if I made a statement that you don't agree with, let me know in the comments. You know, I don't really know who the hell am I? So guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.